Good morning everyone, in from DIY Home and Gardening, 2nd of February. Up the allotment for the first time, well, since I did the last video on the start of January. So I've been up here about 45 minutes, something like that. Just doing a bit of tidying, and probably noticed that behind me looks a little bit different. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll have a little look together. Right, as I've only been up here sort of about 3/4 an hour, started doing a bit of tidying up and last few picks on things. So I've picked some of the kale leaves, or curly kale leaves, for guinea pigs to have, some of the Brussels sprouts, all over there sort of a bit marked or blown. They're fine for the guinea pigs. And then there's some swede there. That there is the last of my chrysanthemum stalls. Lifted those, yeah, we might as well start down here, and then at least you can see how things are going. So as I say, got a bit of Brussels sprouts still there, and actually they're looking pretty tidy still. That cane there is probably guinea pig food for a later day, but actually the other three, I'd say good half of the Brussels on there will be really nice still for us to eat. That's the perpetual spinach that had to move at last month, and you can see that actually now the weather's turned, there's starting to get a little bit of fresh leaf formation in there. This is the land cress. So again, it's been absolutely ravaged. It's the pigeons and the predominantly the pigeons and some of the other birds have been coming in here and having a munch whilst it's been cold and snowy. But again, you look down in the centre there, there's signs of some new growth. So what I will do is I'll give it another few weeks, and then hard to cut back, and that will flush up quite nicely. So this bed here, just giving it a quick weed through the centre, which is where the swede was. So those last swedes have come out. Gave the kale quick pick over, and again you saw the leaves for the guinea pigs. There I've got the onion experiment, which something I'm working on, and these are the broad beans, aquadulcis, which you can see actually where we've had that really cold wet snap, got a couple of failures there. Well, there was already one that must have keeled over, so it looks as though probably there's about 5 or 6 that have actually died, which is very unusual, but it just shows how cold and wet it has been. This bed here is looking pretty empty now, to be honest, because the seedlings of the cauliflower, all but 2, have succumbed to that cold. These are the cabbage Durham early, looking fine actually, barring a couple. And then here, well, this whole batch, again barring like 4 plants of the kale Cavolo Nero, all gone, all succumbed. So whether that's through the coldness and wet, or whether it's the slugs have eaten those. The walking onion looking happy, so pleased with that. Onions, well, the onions are still looking good, and actually as we get to this top bit, which was the variety that I'd forgotten about last time around, which are the red winter ones, you can see that they're now starting to shoot up quite readily, and indeed it looks as though probably most of this lot has only sprouted up through the surface in the last week or so. The autumn champion, well, looking pretty big, aren't they, already? Certainly needs a weed, but it's not going to be today. Then this bed, which is the remnants of the onion and shallot, well, the onions are only just coming through, so that's some more of that red winter in there, and a few other bits. The shallots, well, it first appears that there's nothing happening, but actually when you start looking a bit closer, you can see there's a few signs of life creeping in. So they're really well, I'd say backwards, but you know, it is only just the start of Feb, so not too bad. Garlic, so again the garlic had really been motoring, had been flying. You can see that well, some of them, this variety, music porcelain, really been battered by the cold. It's not obviously enjoyed that at all. So it'd be interesting to see whether they pull around again, because like that, just obviously been shooting, then got frosted and wet. So that looks particularly sickly, that variety. And Topodrome, well, that's interesting that Topodrome looks like it's struggling a bit, because that's normally as tough as anything. But yeah, it just shows how plants can't adapt as readily to these sudden weather changes as we would hope. So the rest are looking good. These which, you know, these were all been grown for sale to the community that owns the land. Well, they're looking nice and strong. And I forgot to mention, so this block here, well, this is the elephant garlic, and you can see actually where I've planted the whole bulbs across the back here, where they're coming up as multi-shoot. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. So main thing that's changed, I've taken down the structure, so the pergola is all gone. Let me get to the other side. Finished weeding this little bit as I pulled out the chrysanthemum that was there, but it's all down. It's a bit sad really, but kind of know that it's got, you know, it's got to happen in order that I can then get ready to move over there towards end of the month. For the time being, I've literally put one of the varieties of chrysanthemum for the stalls there, so they can just sit here. I'm not particularly worried about that variety, as I don't know what the variety is. I took it from cuttings from cut flowers a couple of years ago. But and again, you can see that the odd bits of garlic that my son put in, nice and happy. The black currants budding away quite nicely. Gave the blueberries a bit of a tidy up earlier as well, just cutting out some of the dead bits and cut that long wayward shoot. But in the main, it's still a case of February, getting the plot tidy, having a weed, and I suppose formulating an idea as to where you're going to be for the rest of the season. But it's a bit of a strange one, because for me, I know that I'm not going to be on this site. I'm going to be, as I say, over yonder, and it's getting to that point now where, barring these odd few bits, there's no real need for this structure. Well, there is no need for this structure. And again, looking at this bed here with the failures that have happened, I kind of feel that actually, if I took that structure down, would I really be losing that much if the birds, or when the birds got in there? Probably not. But I think I'll probably keep it up until I've managed to at least start making some beds elsewhere. But yeah, for the time being, this is the February update. Right, we just got home and thought I'd show you how these are progressing. Kind of on a par with the allotments really. So here I've got the onion Kelsey, and there are the leeks. Leon prize taker. So yeah, they were leeks sown in January, onions sown in November. So they're kind of doing their thing. Literally the last, well, these are new dahlias. They're the last couple of dahlias that have possibly survived from the allotment, but who knows if they will. Literally everything else, all the other dahlias all died, so rotted. But anyway, yeah, that's as far as I'm at on this side. I'll nip inside and then you can just see the chili peppers, and that'll be that. Right, so just thought I'd show you the last few bits, as these will all be hopefully going out relatively soon. So new batch of cauliflower there to replace the ones that have died over on the allotment. First sowing of basil, which as always will be grown at the, well, here at the house. Some coriander, and then in here these are all chilies. So there's a couple that are showing as though they've germinated, not many, but it's not been very long. And under here the couple of types of potato which just starting to sprout, and essentially that's where we're at for the start of February.